Right. Now, last week, the treasury bills were generally undersubscribed and the equities market saw a downward trend. But it's a new week in the business world. Welcome to the Day's Counter. My name is Lucy Riley, and I sure am glad that you decided to join us here at TV47. Now, we have a lot in store for you today, particularly on online businesses. But before we get into that, let's have a look at what's making top stories in the business world today. Motor vehicle importers have complained of the delays caused by the technical hitches due to the new clearance IT system. This comes days after KRA said it had addressed the technical issues that were being brought about by the new system. Mr. Charles Munyori, the Secretary General of Kenya Auto Bazaar Association, claimed the new system was not working well, as people who had paid dues for the previous month still had to access the cars stuck at the port. Moving on, the multinational retailer Mr. Price recorded losses in the tune of 84 million Kenyan shillings in the Kenyan operations in the 10 months leading or ending in March this year, a loss majorly driven by startup costs. The retailer spent 133 million last year to acquire 12 stores as part of its buyout from its former partners, Deacon's East Africa. The performance, however, shows that the retailer is headed towards profitability, having narrowed the net losses from 91 million in the first 5 months of operation. Now, over 200 employees of the Botswana-based Choppies Market supermarket are now jobless as the company begins its exit plans from the Kenyan market. The retailer, who bulldozed into Kenyan markets through the acquisition of Ukwala Supermarket, will, however, see to it that the workers' salaries will be paid before end of September. 4 years after it set foot into the market, the supermarket has seen tough times and ended up classifying its 12 stores as distressed. Now, moving on to the question of the day today, which is, what does it take to run a successful online business? What does it take to run a successful online business? Tweet us to @TV47KE and @Lucy_Riley with the hashtag DaysCounterKE. Now, let's get into our Business Voices segment. Right now, today we have ICT Cabinet Secretary Joe Mucheru speaking on the film industry in Kenya and measures that are being taken to improve it. Take a look.
Key policies that we're putting in place, I've talked about ensuring with copyright that will protect your work, but we're also putting in policies where work that is being done outside the continent, outside the country, that is taking away your jobs, we're going to put the relevant taxes so that you continue to be employed, you continue to do, whether it is advertisements or actual films or whatever it is that you need to do, that those get done here in the continent and in Kenya. Our presidents have already come together and created the Continental Free Trade Area. That is now ratified. China has 1.4 billion people. India, 1.3 billion people. We in Africa are 1.3 billion. And you guys are going to be the ones that are going to sell our story to everybody else. We're signing deals on tea that we're exporting. We're signing deals on coffee. I want us to sign deals on film.
All right, now welcome to the business news. With the rising numbers of unemployment among the youth and the need for the joining of technical, vocational and educational training centers, it has continued to be emphasized. Our reporter James Kimani had a chat with the CEO for the National Youth Council, Mr. Roy Sasaka, and discussed, among other things, the opportunities the youth have in the technological revolution and through the learning of new skills for the future. Let's listen in.
We are coming to you from Upper Hill here at from Radisson Blue here at Upper Hill, where there's 6th season of the African Tech Challenge has just come to an end. Well, basically to just give you some information about the Africa Tech Challenges, just some youth are taken through a training, a 5-week training where they are taught skills concerning to tech, and they are empowered with skills that can help them in the future. Well, right now I'm joined by the CEO for the National Youth Council, Mr. Roy Sasaka, who will just try and explain to us the role the youth have to play in this whole debacle, and how tech can be used to help us get to the next generation where we have the 4th industrial revolution taking place. Well, just to bring you to the conversation, Roy, first of all, we can start by, we have 1 million youth coming out of class each and every year, graduating. Maybe, do you feel like the youth are empowered enough for the job market outside here right now, currently?
I would want to say that youth, when you say youth are empowered enough, I think I will not want to agree that. And that's why every other stakeholder, the government, the private sector, and all the non-governmental organizations are coming together, because we realize there's a vacuum. And when you're looking at the youth interventions that are in place, are not really enough to meet the demands of the youth. And that's why it's a coordinated approach to make sure that everyone is focusing and putting the youth at the front. As we speak right now, we have so many youths who are unemployed. We have so many youths who are trying to start up business opportunities, and they are facing those challenges. So we would want to say that the interventions are not yet enough, and the youth are not yet empowered. But that's why we are calling across all the stakeholders to come on board and partner, be it from private sector, be it from the political class, be it from the church, so that we make sure that our youth now are well empowered.
Well, you mentioned unemployment. We have now the solution, another solution that is being put across the table, the TVETs. Do you think the TVETs can help solve the whole situation of unemployment in the country?
Actually, I don't think, I believe actually the TVET is a solution. And it's a big player, enabler, in terms of creating employment, and not only in terms of creating employment, in terms of improving the lives of our youth. One, because the TVET is giving our youth, my fellow youths, the hands-on skills. Because you realize that initially, as a government and the stakeholders, we had focused so much on the educational bit, the university and all that. We had forgotten and neglected the technical skills. And you see, there was a gap. And this gap is where the job, the skills need to meet the job. So by actually emphasizing more on the TVETs, we are creating more opportunities for the young people. We are creating more jobs for the young people. And we are creating not only jobs for those young people, but we are enabling the young people also to create opportunities for other young people.
There are those who will argue that the TVETs that are currently there are not really empowering people to get into the next phase of maybe the revolution. We are talking about people learning how to tailor. We are in a world that people are making robots. If you can just maybe do you feel like there's more that can be done to empower these TVETs to come up with TVET trainees to come up with technologies that can change the future? Maybe do you feel that the government should put more into these TVETs?
Okay, I want to agree with you and disagree with you at the same time, because one, when you look at technology is a key enabler, and I agree with you that much more needs to be done in terms of actually investing in the technology infrastructure. We are talking with the 4th industrial revolution. Are we ready in terms of infrastructure? Are we ready in terms of the facilities and needs actually to leverage on that, or to enable our youth to take advantage of it? So in that terms, you can say that actually, yes, and much more investments need to be done in the technology field to make sure that we have the right platform. But on the other hand, when you look at it from the other side, we all cannot fit in the technology. I could be good in carpentry, and you're forcing me to go the technology way, yet I could create more value addition in the carpentry and offer myself an opportunity to employ other youths. So we are agreeing, yes, technology is the key enabler, but we are also agreeing that there are many more other avenues in terms of technical skills that can actually empower a youth. And this is where I will want to continue encouraging the government and also challenging them. Because as the National Youth Council, we are there to tell them, yes, you're doing the right thing, but much more needs to be done. So we want to, that's when we appreciate programs like KIOP, where the government is just focusing young people between the age of 18 and 22 to acquire the skills necessary in terms of dressmaking, in terms of carpentry, those skills, be it a class 8 dropout and all that. But we also want to argue that what is the number of the beneficiaries of this? Is the number equivalent to the need? Is there much more emphasis and financial support that needs to go there? So I think we can look at it from both sides. Yes, technology is good, but we also need to look at also other technical skills which are good to make sure that we create more opportunities for our young people.
Maybe for the last question, we are at an event that has a lot of countries. We have Ghana, we have Uganda, Cote d'Ivoire. Maybe do you feel like right now we have the African free trade currently happening? We have come up with a way of integrating our systems together so that we can be able to trade across Africa. Maybe do you feel like the youth in Kenya especially have that competitive advantage that can help us get to those levels of the international levels that can enable us to trade and also gain as much from this free trade agreement?
Actually, I want to say that the Kenyan youth is a very innovative youth, it's a very entrepreneurial youth and very aggressive. And that's why when you are in other forums, other countries have felt that we are more aggressive, but we thank God, we thank our mother nature, because that is because of the experiences we've gone through. It has molded us to even take advantage of not only East Africa, regional and even global. What I want to say that the country and the institutions that are there, they need to look at the youth as the greatest potential we have in Kenya. And we need now, as we speak, as we talk of unemployment, as we talk about opportunities for young people, we need to make a deliberate effort to focus on these young people because they have great potential to actually make Kenya the leader in Africa. So the only thing that is remaining now is to actually increase on molding these youth to take advantage of the opportunities available and actually to continue making an enabling environment so that these youth not only look at competing locally, but they're looking at competing regionally and even globally. So I want to say that yes, the Kenyan youth is the most aggressive youth I know. And it's the most smart youth I know. And I'm very proud to be a Kenyan youth. What I want to say is that, and I also want to challenge my fellow youth. As we, National Youth Council, we push the government, we push other agencies to make sure that they focus their energies on the youth. I also want to challenge my youth that as youth also, let's take advantage of available opportunities. We have so many opportunities available so far in terms of affirmative funds, the youth fund. We have the programs targeting youth like KEO. We have other coming interventions. They may not be enough for the 20 billion youth I have, but if used well, and if we take advantage of them, the AGPO, for instance, we may create opportunities to even empower other young people. And now other countries will look upon us as direction. When you look at what is happening here today, it's a very big challenge. I'm happy that it's being hosted here. It tells you something that actually, yes, we are aggressive enough. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Roy, the CEO of the National Youth Council. Well, there you heard it from Mr. Roy himself, talking about the opportunities for the youth in terms of TVET, the technical vocational schools that are there in the country, and also the African continent as a whole in terms of the African free trade that is currently this deal that has been signed that we can trade regionally. Well, I'll hand it back to you, studio, for now, but I'll make sure to keep you up to date with everything that is happening from here at the Radisson Blue in Upper Hill. Back to you, studio.
Thank you for that, James Kimani, on opportunities in tech. Now, Nigeria is using a system of tax credits to encourage private companies to share the cost of infrastructure projects as part of a drive to diversify Africa's biggest economy away from its reliance on oil sales. Here's more on that story.
Nigeria is using a system of tax credits to encourage private companies to share the cost of infrastructure projects as part of a drive to diversify Africa's biggest economy away from its reliance on oil sales, the country's tax chief said. Tunde Fowler, an executive chairman of the Federal Inland Revenue Service, said in an interview on Wednesday that more than 10 local companies had applied for the scheme to receive 50% of expenditure in tax credits. He also said Nigeria had agreed to nearly double tax revenues this year from 2018 due to a surge of new payers following the end of an amnesty and the introduction of a new database that uses biometric data. Africa's biggest oil-producing country has sought to diversify its economy away from crude sales, but has struggled to improve non-oil revenues as debt servicing costs rise.
Slowly but surely we're getting there. There are a lot of little businesses that may charge VAT are not remitted or may not even be charging VAT. And we're focusing first of all on the bigger, larger businesses, especially when you look at the situation whereby the economy has just come out of a recession. We want to make sure that we do not burden the small business owners. A lot of people do not keep accurate books or do not even keep financials because the issue of taxation was not really on the front burner, if I can put it that way, for a very long time. So now people are engaging accountants, trying to put their finances in order, and then try to see how much taxes they should pay based on the businesses that they have done.
And after Nigeria signed up to a new continent-wide trade agreement in July, manufacturers have called for improvements to road, rail, and power networks to compete with firms across Africa. Fowler said 2 companies had successfully applied to receive tax credits for infrastructure projects so far. One was part of the Dangote Group, owned by the continent's richest man, Aliko Dangote, which will build a road under the scheme. He did not name the other company. The tax credit scheme was signed into law under an executive order by President Muhammadu Buhari in January. Buhari was elected for a second term in February, in part due to his vow to develop the country's poor infrastructure that has stymied development for decades. But he faces a challenge amid a rising debt servicing costs.
Personally, I believe that Nigeria should review the VAT rate, maybe to 7.5%. I've often said it. That will still remain one of the lowest in Africa. Our neighbors close by in Ghana, South Africa, across Africa.
Nigeria spent 35% of government revenue servicing debt in 2016, and its economy entered a recession that it left the following year. Since then, it has taken on more local and foreign debt. Economic growth slowed to an annual rate of 1.94% in the second quarter of this year, the Statistics Office said on Tuesday. The non-oil sector grew 1.64% and the oil sector 5.15%, though crude prices have fallen since then. Fowler said 5.32 trillion naira was collected in taxes in 2018 and his office was targeting 8.9 trillion naira this year. He said the increase was possible because the number of taxpayers was expected to jump around 45 million this year from 20 million in 2018.
Personally, I believe that Nigeria should review the VAT rate, maybe to 7.5%. I've often said it. That will still remain one of the lowest in Africa. Our neighbors close by in Ghana, South Africa, across Africa, have an average of at least 15% when it comes to VAT.
Right, an invasive plant which is destroying crops in Senegal and Mauritania is now being used to produce clean energy, but the country needs to go further to extract the full potential of Taifa, which could become the building block of a green future, saving trees and cutting down on greenhouse emissions. Take a look.
The majestic Senegal River is a natural frontier with Mauritania. The banks are a crucial source of rice and other primary crops. The river provides fish for the rural population living along its shores. Mauritania, where the arid desert of the Sahel region begins, has one of the poorest agricultural bases in West Africa. The narrow band along the river provides the country's only farmland. To capitalize on the land and reduce the salt level rising in the fresh river water that threatens the crops, both Senegal and Mauritius government have agreed to build the Diama Dam in the estuary. It was completed in 1986 and also created a vital trade link between the two countries. Another dam, the Mantali, was built further downstream in Mali to create a water reservoir. But this ambitious move, intended to safeguard and expand the two nations' agriculture, created a monster with devastating effects. Taifa australis, a fast-growing invasive reed. Though Taifa is native to the region, the two dams that cut off the seasonal flow of the salt freshwater in the river provided the perfect condition for it to grow and spread faster than ever before. It choked off the land and irrigation systems, destroying crops and pushing back fishing zones. Stagnant waters also led to increased diseases. Today, 45% of the Senegal River Delta's arable land has been taken over by Taifa, which has to be regularly cut down to stop it spreading further, but never receding because of its lightning speed growth rate. Both governments have spent 30 years trying to eradicate Taifa in vain. It was until 2011 that the International Technical Research and Exchange Group found a solution. For the local community who had lost hope, the new biofuel is a godsend. On the other hand, it is good because it gives me work. Take two. But it is also a major leap in finding clearer energy than firewood and combating greenhouse gas emissions. With funding from the European Union and EPAS, GRET brought equipment for the local community to dry and carbonize Taifa. They also trained a collective of women to produce the biofuel by mixing the charred reeds with gum arabica and drying them into briquettes. Taifa biofuel is cheap, produces little smoke, and burns a long time with a reasonable calorific value. Another advantage of the Taifa biofuel is that it saves trees. Cutting trees for fuel has had a devastating effect on the environment. GRET says Senegal uses 1.5 million cubic meters of wood a year and has lost 675,000 hectares of forest between 1990 and 2005. Mauritania uses 6 million cubic meters. GRET describes the deforestation as massive. Given its huge potential, Taifa was upgraded from being a calamity to new green gold. But in the 4 years since it began producing the biofuel using artisanal methods, the business hasn't grown much.
Have been on the rise in recent years, with many opting to venture in business. Now, small businesses have been embraced by both young and old in terms of job creation. Our reporter Vanessa Ndavi took on the streets to meet an egg and smokies vendor in Westlands. Let's listen in.
Unemployment numbers keep shooting high every day here in Kenya, and many choosing to be self-employed. Today I've paid a visit to some of the vendors in Westlands who sell smokies and also eggs, or by the street name known to many as Smoky Pasua and Mayai Pasua, to tell us more about their business. Smoky business continues to gain attraction, and more Kenyans embrace the quick-to-go snack. For instance, smokies remain as one of the most popular snacks in the country, be it at the bus stops, marketplaces, and bars. These vendors are hard to miss, be it pushing their three-wheel trolleys or men and women in white coats, either stationed at one place or moving around as they sell their snack. Business front that is relatively cheap to start.
Ukianzisha biashara huwezi anzisha na stock moja, lazima uweke zote, si ndio? Sasa niligawa pesa, nikakodisha troli kwanza, ndio nikaleta smoky mayai packet tray moja na smoky packet moja, na nikanunua nyanya na hizo zingine.
Okay, mimi naitwa Joe, niko 21 years. Hii business nilianza some weeks before. Niliona yuko favorable kwa mayutkasi, unaona. So before nilianza kuuzia kwanza mse, nikao umechorwa job. Saa hizo ma savings hivyo. Kwa day unamekaa 2,000. Na tuseme kama youth sasa hii hawana familia hivyo. So hizo dozi zinaweza keta all your needs, unaona. Saa hizo ma savings tu hivyo kiasi. Unapata unashikadi trolley yako nyingine. Unatafuta base unaweka unaanza kuzia wase. Na sido mayai tuseme kwa mayai moja unazouzia mse 20 smoky 30. Na hizi stuff zingine tu kama nyanya, vitunguu, tukaa hizo sido most.
of unemployment and proper connection to those in the white-collar jobs left Hilda and Joe with little to choose from. They had to employ themselves.
Inalingana. Unaweza angalia ni kitu gani naweza fanya. Mwanzo unajua Kenya haina kazi nzuri. Unajua? Saa ili uende kazi nyingine lazima kuwe connected. Na kama una mtu connect na lazima ukule na ulale, si ndio? Sasa kama una mtu connect inabidi umetafuta kitu itakupea chakula. Utatafuta ukiona nguo ukienda kutafuta biashara nguo unaona hiyo itakaa. Ndio utoe. Lakini chakula unajua ni kitu watu wananunua. Kila saa mtu anakuja kukula. Sasa ndio maana nilichagua hiyo. Kitu ya kwenda haraka haraka.
Okay, najua busy unafanyanga from your heart. Unaweza pata busy yenyewe unapata dola lakini kubambi. Unaona? So, unaweza sema pia nika talent tu.
Aspired to be a lawyer, however, due to one reason or the other, the dream was never materialized. Joe was employed by someone with a similar business, and a few weeks ago he decided to test the waters and start his own.
Okay, najua ukiingia seko unakuanga na dream nyingi. So by the time umaliza unakuanga zinika zisha evaporate ama zisha expect kaa hivi. Mimi nilikuwa nadai kuwa lawyer lakini ninasema somo ilinipeleka tu hivyo. Sometimes unaona ukifanya KC una fail. So mtu give up kwa maisha tu hivyo. Unatafuta njia nyingine.
Their only means of livelihood, and they have committed themselves in ensuring that their clients are satisfied. This business booms during early morning and evening when people leave work, as they consider this snack a quick bite to grab on the go.
Wako wengi siku nalo wanarauka kuenda job. Na wako na njaa hawajakunywa chai. Hii biashara inalingana. Unaona ikienda end month unaweza uza sana. Kama si end month huwezi uza vile. Ni hivyo tu.
So waiting for that big break, Joe and Hilda still insist that you don't have to start big.
Hii kazi ni kujitia moyo juu si kazi rahisi, ni kurauka. Unapata wengine wanafungua na wanafunga. Juu ya hiyo kurauka, yani unajua lazima urauke ndio compete na wengine. Juu watu wako wengi. So unarauka na unajitia moyo. Unaelewa? Hata siku nyingine ukikuja ukose, utaamka tu kesho. Uombe tu Mungu na ukuje ufanye kazi yako.
Okay, kazi ni most ni watafutangi. Unaona? Nika unakaa hapo hivi kazi kupata na hiyo ni kitu impossible. So na za tu ambia tu watafute hivi. Hawezi kosa.
Many are forced to create employment for themselves. The big question is, who and where do they turn to? Vanessa Ndavi, TV47, Westlands, Nairobi.
Thank you for that, Vanessa Ndavi, on the small businesses, especially in smokies, selling smokies and eggs. Now, let's have a look at how Kenyan shilling is trading against other currencies today. Roundabout now, it's time to take a short break, but when we come back, we have a guest in studio who will be talking to us about building a business online. He is Mr. Sammy Kihumba. Now, do follow us on all the social media platforms and engage and interact with us on the day's counter.
Uhuru, sheria na haki ni vipengee muhimu katika maisha ya kila siku.
Na iwapo serikali itafanikiwa katika makuzi ya jamii iliyo na mwelekeo, basi sharti sheria hizo zifuatwe.
Na kwa sababu sheria ni msumeno kukata mbele na nyuma, ni vyema kufahamu tungo hizi.
Siku zote jambo usilolijua ni kama usiku wa giza.
Ungana nami Clifford Ndubi.
Nami Andrine Kilemi.
Kila siku ya Jumatatu saa 1 jioni tukidonoa na kuchanganua sheria hizi
zinazotudhibiti.
Visa vingi vya ukosefu wa kazi vimewalazimu watu wengi kujitosa katika hustle mbalimbali. Hapa katika Hustle Mashinani tunatambua bidii yako, ubunifu wako na kuikubali kazi yako.
Nafanya hustle ya kuuza chapati na maybe weekend huwa na hustle na kushuka watu nywele.
Hudi ni neighbor wangu. Hata hiyo kazi anafanya inamsaidia kulipa nyumba.
Ungana nami Magdalene Wanjiko kila siku ya Jumamosi saa 2:30 hapa TV47, macho na sauti yetu.
Huu ni mji wa Kitale unaofahamika kwa ghala la chakula kwa taifa la Kenya, mji ambao unapatikana katika kaunti 026, yani kaunti ya Trans Nzoia. Kutoka hapa tutakujuza matukio ya kipekee na kufahamisha matukio hayo kwa ufasaha mkubwa wa aina yake.
Nyanya yetu inaharibikia kwa barabara. Juzi tumekuwa na mama anataka amejifungua, lakini hakuna pikipiki, hakuna gari yenye inaenda. Bunge kama ni bokose, ako wapi? Akikuja haonekani.
Kutoka mji wa Kitale, mimi ni Boniface Barasa na hii ni TV47.
Right, welcome back. Thank you so much for choosing to stay with us here at TV47 on the day's count. And our quick reminder on the question of the day today is, what does it take to run a successful online business? What does it take to run a successful online business? Tweet us to @TV47KE and at Lucy_Riley with the hashtag DaysCounterKE. Now in studio with me, I have Mr. Sammy Kihumba, who is the CEO and founder of All Rentals Marketplace, which is an online digital business. And he's here to talk about online entrepreneurship. Karibu sana, Mr. Sammy. How are you doing today?
I'm very fine.
Yes, thank you for being in studio with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Fantastic. So now talk to me about All Rentals Marketplace. Yes, it's a platform that you've created online to actually enable customers and clients to be able to sell their products. Yes. But you can best explain your business.
Yes. Okay. So All Rental Marketplace is a buy and sell website. So sellers can post their photos of their goods and services on the platform, and then they leave their contacts there. And then now buyers can come to the platform and select, and then they call the seller and they meet up. They meet up and they trade.
Right. Why choose to go into that particular direction of business, knowing that, you know, a lot of people are already going into this space, and it's very competitive also. And by the time maybe people buy online, a lot of people have trust issues with sometimes they can have trust issues with buying products online. So why choose to go in that direction?
Okay, the main reason, the main thing that prompted me to go into that field is because nowadays everything is happening online. Nowadays, if your business is not online, within the next 5 or 10 years, you will be virtually non-existent. So I chose to go into that field because nowadays everybody has a smartphone, and all the businesses are now heading towards the online perspective. And then also another reason is advertising is also very expensive, and many of our youth are unemployed. So I thought it's a cheap way for people to, especially someone who's starting to sell things. It's easy for them to go to the website because it's free. It's easy for them to go to the website and post the things that they are selling, and they'll find customers fast and easy.
Right, talking of advertising, how are you able to monetize and convert some of the sales from that platform to really bring in revenue in the back end? So for example, do you have obviously other advertisers on advertising on your website, and the traffic also? Talk to me about, do you have enough traffic to be able to actually attract this, the partners that advertise on your platforms?
All right, so it's a fairly new platform. It's a new website. I started actually last year, 2018. So it's 1 year down the line. So it's slowly growing. From the time I started with like 100 users. Now we have close to 1,000 users. Okay. So the traffic is growing slowly. And the other question you asked about was it trust issues?
Yes. Exactly, yes. Trust.
Now now with trust issues, the internet is a good thing and a bad thing also. It's a good thing because it connects people, and then also now the bad thing is you cannot eliminate 100% fraudsters. They'll always be there, but we've put measures in place to try and make sure that the businesses are genuine. For example,
what kind of measures? Yeah.
Yes. For example, when a seller puts their products online, the first thing we do, we verify them. We verify the email address and their telephone number. If the business is somewhere that you can go and visit, we actually go and visit it. For example, if it is in Nairobi. If it is somewhere far off, it is not possible to verify all of them. But the thing that we've done, we've put a report button, whereby if a customer notices that there is something fishy about the business, they will report, and they'll just send a short message and explain what happened. And if we investigate and see that it's really it's fraud, then we pull down the profile of the seller.
Have you had any cases so far of customers really actually following up with the report button and saying there is an issue with the product, and even going after the purchase and maybe finding out that the product itself has a fault, maybe a manufacturer's fault? Now, how do you go about it now to return the product and try and get it to be easier for the customer who's bought it and also for those who are selling?
So far, we are fortunate. We haven't received any cases of fraud for now, and we hope that we don't. But in case we do, we'll just use the normal channels. First of all, we'll investigate. If it's something genuine, we'll close down the profile of the seller, and sometimes we may even involve the police.
All right, and yes. Are you able to refund the money for the customer, for example?
Unfortunately, we are not able because we are like in the middle. So we only provide the platform, and then now the seller and the buyer need to meet somewhere and then agree. So for now, we haven't done that, but we are working on our policy.
All right. So yes. Now, because this is a space where a lot of people might be thinking of going into, and of course you're shedding more light in this direction, tell me about, especially when it comes to the time it takes to deliver the product to the customer. I'll give you a personal example. I actually recently came across a new online platform where they were selling products, and I ordered for those goods online, and I'm still waiting. It's been about a month and a half now, yes. And they are following up each month. They tell me it's coming next month. Yes. So I'm soon going to start applying for a refund, and so I don't know how to go about, like, what is really what could be the holdup, or what happens when it comes to online businesses delivering the product in good time and ensuring that the customer is satisfied and pleased.
All right, now, okay, when it comes to the online business, there are there's a major difference between what we do. Now, I want to use examples so that the situation can really come out clearly. For us, we are not really in touch with the seller. We only provide the platform, and then the seller posts the items, and then now they discuss with the buyer. So now we don't deliver the goods on behalf of the seller. However, we verify the seller to make sure that it's a genuine business, and then now they will now speak, the seller and the buyer. However, later we might now, when the company grows, we will think of delivering goods to people, and we'll start with a few sellers who we worked with for a while. Yes.
So this is
that
very,
is the main difference with us and other.
So that's very close to something that's referred to in the States as drop shipping. Drop shipping, right?
Yes,
and a lot of money is being made actually from that kind of a platform. You never get to touch the product yourself. All you do is ensure the customer and the seller, you know, they are connected, but you get a... So tell me now on the back end, what is the profit, or what is the return on investments now that you are, you know, in the middle just taking a share, and then what is the profit margin?
So now there are two ways we make money. When a seller uploads items on the website, it is free for them. However, as more sellers apply, or as more sellers post items, it is like you see in Facebook there's a timeline. If you put a story, after some time it goes down, and then the story that is latest will always be at the top.
Yes.
So now we encourage sellers, if they want their items to be always at the top, now they will have to pay. Now if they pay now, the items will always be visible on the front page. But as long as it is free, you know, then it will be how can I put it? The seller who posts the items recently is the one that will be seen. Okay, so that's one way we make money. The second way we make money, we use third-party advertisers like Google.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Google will put their advertisements on our website, and then they'll pay us.
What's the most difficult thing about being in that space right now?
Being in that space is marketing, because now my website, it's now near, and not very many people know about it. So the biggest challenge you have is marketing, making people know about the website. Because now if more people know about it, then it means there's more traffic. More people visit the website, and then now there'll be more advertisements and more revenue. So I think that the biggest thing is marketing.
What would you say is the cost of setting up this kind of a business?
For a base, okay, it depends. With websites, it depends on the quality of the website. For a basic website, you can start anywhere from 30,000. Depending on the person who is doing it for you. And then if you want a better website, you now have to add more money. But I think for someone who's starting, between 30 and 100,000 should be okay, and even to advertise and all that. A budget like 100, for something good. Although you can start small and then now grow with time. Yes.
All right. I mean, this topic is very broad, and of course, on the next time when we invite you, we'll be going into more depth and detail, perhaps on matters pertaining to regulation, especially in the country, and so on and so forth. But perhaps you can just give us a takeaway, a take-home regarding this particular business and going into this space as we actually end the show.
All right. So I'd encourage this is my camera. I'd encourage the youth and anyone to just start. It's you won't require a lot of revenue. In terms of management, you can actually start it on your own. In terms of employment, you don't need like an office for that. You just need your laptop and internet. So it's something that, especially if you're passionate about it, it's something that I'd encourage people to start. And then with time, it will grow.
Yeah.
Yes.
Super. Thank you so much, Mr. Sammy.
Yes.
And it's been amazing. So as you've been told, anybody really can start in this particular business, and you can work from your laptop, which also means you can work anywhere in the world and actually be on the beach and grow your business. That's all the time I had with you for today, unfortunately. But do join me tomorrow, same time, same place. That's on the Day's Counter. Follow us on all the social media platforms. That's Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at TV47KE, and YouTube at TV47 Kenya. Also follow me. That's at Lucy_Riley. That's with a double C. And yeah, it's been lovely having you on watching the show today.